Good morning and welcome to the VSA Morning Miner. It's Tuesday, the 9th of May, after the long bank holiday weekend. I'm joined by Paul Rankin. Paul, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. I got some big schedule ahead here for one-to-one, both today and tomorrow.
Yep, 2 days of that in London. So yeah, let's get into the news. Let's start with Rainbow Rare Earths, who've announced a significant placing of £7.5 million.
Yes, that's right. £7.5 million, $9.5 million US, roughly here, which came in much of it from existing shareholders. But it was a placing at a 28% premium to the price as of May the 5th. So well done them on this. And this will allow them to cover their financial requirements beyond the end of the first quarter of 2024 and will get them into operation on a pilot plant basis for their Phalaborwa rare earths from phosphate tails project in South Africa. And it will also complete the definitive feasibility study. So nicely cashed up then in order to advance Phalaborwa in particular here for pilot scale production.
Yeah, in the current environment, that's a pretty impressive raise. So yeah, credit to them there. Another financing this morning to look at into Capital Metals.
Yes, Capital Metals, a name that we haven't really talked about before, and it's a quite small one that otherwise hadn't listed that long ago here. In their particular case, they have signed a non-binding memorandum of understanding with a Chinese Shenzhen listed firm by the name of LB Group, and this is to provide funding in order to get their Capital Metals Sri Lanka mineral sands into production. The indicative terms, which would have to be finalized no later than the end of July, and it does still require Capital Metals shareholder approval, would be in line with a 50-50 joint venture between LB Group and Capital Metals on future on this project. It would include LB Group providing the financing for PEA study as well as for the follow-on capital expenditure of $81 million US for processing facility for this activity. And the intent is to achieve 1.65 million tons per annum as a mining rate on these licenses in Sri Lanka. LB or Capital Metals would essentially begin receiving joint venture profits as soon as shipments began, and they think that it would only take about a 12-month period for processing plant to be built once final investment decision had been made. And LB Group intends to take 100% of the heavy mineral concentrate and ilmenite offtake. So definitely a good deal if they can get the signatures together between Capital Metals with this firm, which is a major titanium sponge and a pigment producer in China.
Yeah, it's one of the first non-lithium Chinese deals we've seen for a while, after all the geopolitical issues that have risen over the last 2 years. And I guess now that Western capital markets have tightened up a bit, companies are starting to go back to China as a funding option.
And it's interesting that the Chinese have come in on this project at the PEA level, essentially, not at feasibility. So it does indicate a sense of urgency, I think, for some of these Chinese firms in order to secure raw material supplies as well.
Yeah, I suspect that's partly due to that relatively short timeline after the PEA through to first production and the simple nature of mineral sands projects compared to other mining projects. I'm not sure PEA stage would be appropriate outside of something like lithium, where you need to do a lot more metallurgical or engineering work before going to production.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's also some news out from Tirupati Graphite, which you've been looking at recently, Paul.
Yes, that's right. They put out a full year production and trading statement here for the period which ended the 31st of March. All in the plus column here as far as output, prices, and sales is concerned here. A 50% increase in quantity sold and shipped to just under 4,000 tons in this fiscal year 2023. A gross profit which rose by 170% year on year to 1.4 million pounds sterling, and a total production that had risen by 60% to 4,700 tons of graphite concentrates. Also nice to see the basket price realized per ton of graphite sold also increased by 17% during the period to 726 pounds sterling per ton for their graphite cons. They're feeling very bullish as well about the demand coming forward here from their flake graphite products as well. So they are pushing ahead to try to get their two projects in as developments into processing capacity at 30,000 tons per annum. So all looking fairly positive here at this point. They did actually have a cost of production fall per ton as well to just 318 pounds sterling. So it's nice to see the improvement in efficiency as well with the higher production rate.
Very good. Okay, Paul, unless there's anything else, I think we'll call it a day there.
Just to mention real quickly that TSX listed Goldshore Resources had put out their new resource statement for their Moss mine in Canada to over 6 million ounces inferred, which is a nice increase of about 1/3 to 40% or so in total resources on that set of gold deposits. So there is still open to further extensions of resources and capacity with further drilling, but it is growing in size, definitely.
Yeah, I think that'll be useful for the PEA after those metallurgical results recently.
Mm-hmm.
All
Very
right.
good.
Thanks, Paul. Speak to you soon.
See you then.